It's time to finally delve into the last official era sourcebook for Star Wars the role-playing game line. This is a review of Dawn of Rebellion. Let's dive in. And here we have our Dawn of Rebellion era sourcebook. Let's take a look on the back and see what it has to say. Adventure in the era of Star Wars Rebels and Rogue One, a Star Wars story with Dawn of Rebellion. This sourcebook explores the beginnings of the Rebel Alliance and is fully compatible with the complete Star Wars role-playing game lines of Edge of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, and Force and Destiny. Dawn of Rebellion is one of 3 sourcebooks for the Star Wars role-playing game lines. But what makes an era sourcebook unique is that you get some new species, careers, vehicles, and adversaries to play around with, all from a specific time period in the Star Wars canon. Like with the other sourcebooks, Dawn of Rebellion is separated into 4 chapters. Worlds in Revolt simply has stats for planets, their history, and some encounter ideas. Organizations has information on some of the factions that were around during this time period. Player Options has new species, specializations, weapons, and vehicles for player characters to utilize, and the Game Master Support chapter has ideas on how to structure campaigns. Worlds in Revolt provides some information on a handful of planets that were featured in Rebels and Rogue One. These planets have statistics, history, and some adversaries statted. I'm not a fan of having the adversaries tucked away in this chapter. I much prefer if they were all gathered at the end of the book for easier reference. We do have planet Alderaan here before it was destroyed, spoiler alert, and we do have Princess Leia Organa as a character here. We have a Talon with AP5, Krykna, Dogma, and Convor as adversaries here. We've also got Dathomir with Maul and Shelish and Feltrek and even Force Manifestations, which is actually really kind of cool. We also have the Death Star, and we do have stats for the DS1 Death Star. We have Commander Orson Krennic, we have Death Troopers, Death Star Trooper, Death Star Trooper Officer, Shore Trooper, and Captain Fatima Nuri. Then we've got Jeddah. And we'll have Saw Gerrera and a Pilgrim as adversaries here. We do have Lothal with Commandant Cumberlane Aresco, Governor Arinda Price, Minister Maketh Tua, and Ryder Azadi. We also have some other worlds like the Anaxis Asteroid Belt with some Fearnox. We have Gerol, we have Malachor, the Ring of Kafrene, Selos with Jupo Worm, Shantipol with Quarries, and that's about it. The Organizations chapter follows a very similar premise to the previous, only instead of worlds we get information on some factions, and once again there are adversaries tucked away within these pages. For the Empire on the bureaucracy side we have Grand Moff Tarkin and Gal Ravis, and then for the Imperial military we have stats for Admiral Cassius Constantine and Grand Admiral Thrawn. For the military academies, we have Cadet Jai Kell, Cadet Zaire Leonis, Taskmaster Miles Grint, and Cadet Wedge Antilles. And then we've got the Imperial Security Bureau, which only has Agent Callus. And then we have the Inquisitorius, and we do have the Vehicle Type Advanced V1 here, which for some reason isn't in the back of the book with the other vehicles, but we do have stats for Darth Vader, the Grand Inquisitor, Fifth Brother, and the Seventh Sister. On the Rebellion side, we do have Leadership, which has Bail Organa and Mon Mothma. For the Fulcrum agents, we only have Ahsoka Tano. For the Phoenix Cell, we have Commander Jun Sato. And then we have the Spectres themselves. So if you've ever seen Rebels, then you know who these guys are. And we got the full list. We got Kanan Jarrus, Hera Syndulla. We've got the stats for the Ghost, the Phantom 2, my homeboy Chopper. We got Zeb, Sabrine Wren. We have Sabine's TIE Fighter statted here as well. And we've also got Ezra Bridger and Captain Rex. And then we've got our independent organizations. And we have the Broken Horn Syndicate, which is represented by Ticatro Vizago and the Broken Horn itself. We've got the Free Ryloth movement, which has Cham Syndulla. and Numa. And then we've got the Protectors of Concord Dawn, which has Fen Rao and Fang Fighter. Then for the independent agents, we've just got some random adversaries like Asmorgan, Hondo Onaka, Ketsu Onyo, Shadowcaster, and Lando Calrissian. We do have 4 new species for players to use. The Drabatans have a 3 in presence, a 1 in cunning, and a 2 in everything else. They begin with 1 rank in either charm or leadership, and they have big noise. So when making a leadership or coercion check, Drabatans can spend 2 advantages to affect 1 additional character not originally targeted by the check or affect targets at 1 range band further than normal. Then we've got the Gagorans. The Gagorans have a 3 in brawn, a 1 in intellect, and a 2 in everything else. They begin with 1 rank in brawl. They have adapted to the cold. Gagorans remove a setback die imposed due to cold or snow-filled conditions. They also have low tech, which forces them to upgrade the difficulty of mechanics checks involving advanced technology once. We've got the Yakaru, which they have a 3 in agility, a 1 in willpower, and a 2 in everything else. They begin the game with 1 rank in piloting space. They also have brachiation, so they suffer no terrain penalties to movement through jungles or similar environments. They also add a boost die to athletics and coordination checks related to climbing, swimming, and balancing. And last but not least, we have the Tognaths, which have a 3 in willpower, a 1 in presence, and a 2 in everything else. They do begin with cybernetic implants for their eyes, and they get 1 rank in coordination and perception. They do have primitive nerves, which adds 2 setback dice to coercion checks targeting Tognath characters. They also have an atmospheric requirement, meaning that they have to wear a breathing apparatus when outside of their native atmosphere. There are no new careers in Dawn of Rebellion, but we do have 6 universal specializations. The Force Adherent talent tree does not give a Force rating. They seem to do well with knowledge lore checks with Disciple of Lore, and they're able to mitigate damage with dodge. Superior reflexes and Sixth Sense provide defense as well. The Imperial Academy Cadet talent tree is all about piloting vehicles. Nothing really special here except for targeted firepower at the end of the talent tree, which can provide extra advantages against 1 enemy for the rest of the encounter. We have the Padawan Survivor, which allows a character to gain Force rating 1. They have your standard reflect and parry, but they also have talents such as Sleight of Mind and Uncanny Reactions that can add boost die to stealth or vigilance checks. The Pirate talent tree allows PCs to make purchasing black market goods easier. They're also like a pseudo leader who is also able to use coercion. This one's a weird one for me. The Retired Clone Trooper talent tree has a lot of offensive capabilities, but they do have a powerful defensive ability with Comrades in Arms. Once per encounter, take Comrades in Arms action to make a hard discipline check. If successful, the character plus 1 ally per success within medium range gains plus 1 defense for the remainder of the encounter. And then there's also improved Comrades in Arms. So spend 3 advantages or a triumph from Comrades in Arms check to also gain plus 1 soak, or give 1 affected ally plus 1 soak. The Ship Captain talent tree has some standard piloting talents, but their main skill is actually leadership. Trust the captain, inspiring rhetoric, and even field commander make use of leadership checks to help remove strain from allies or increase their discipline skill. We do have some new weapons to play around with, not a whole lot but a few. We have the DLT-19D Heavy Blaster Rifle, the E11D Blaster Carbine, the E22 Blaster Rifle, the Light Bow, the MWC-35C Repeating Cannon, that's in standard mode. There is the same thing but with single shot mode, and those two require gunnery skills. We have the PB-08 Heavy Blaster Pistol, and we have the Vibro-Rang. We actually get some new droids as well, like the DTS Series Dismantler Droid, the ID9 Seeker Droid, the IGRM Series Enforcer Droid, the KX Series Enforcer Droid, and the MSE Series Maintenance Droid. In terms of vehicles, we have the AT-ACT, the AT-DP, we've got the Occupier Combat Assault Tank, and then for starships, we have the Azutuk class gunship, the Delta class T-3C shuttle, the KST-100 Kestrel Light Executive Transport, the Prototype B6, the TIE Mining Guild Starfighter, the TIE Striker Multi-Role Fighter, the UT-60D U-Wing Troop Transport, the Zeta-class Heavy Cargo Shuttle, and for corvettes and cruisers, we have the Architect-class Light Cruiser and the Hammerhead-class Corvette. To simply put, the Game Master Support chapter has some advice on running campaigns as seasons and really how to integrate rebel cells into your campaigns. If you need advice on such things, then it could be a really great chapter to read through, but otherwise it's kind of pretty niche. Out of the 3 Era source books, Dawn of Rebellion is the weakest for me. First, it doesn't really follow the same format as the other previous 2. We don't start with the player options, we don't even have any adversaries at the very end of the book, and when you really think about it, the previous 2 books covered the Clone Wars, a unique time period for the Star Wars saga. Dawn of Rebellion covers the Rebellion. It covers pretty much what's already in the 3 core rulebooks. Do you need this era source book at all? Not really, especially if you have allies and adversaries. You've already got all of the content that's here, that's new. If you're looking for even more content around this specific period of time in the Star Wars saga, then I would highly recommend the Andor fan source book on the Star Wars community website. Well, that's going to do it for now. Feel free to leave a comment down below, give this video a huge thumbs up to support this series, and I will see you guys in the next video.